The British realized it might look like their government was panicking, was preparing for the absolute worst outcome. So the British keep it very hush-hush.
The operation codename chosen is deceptively simple. Operation Fish. On the 23rd of June, 1940, the Emerald puts out to sea. Destination, Halifax, Nova Scotia. British coastal waters are especially dangerous. The Emerald is given a heavy escort for the first stage of the voyage. Then the cruiser is hit by a savage North Atlantic storm. It almost capsizes. On the 1st of July, 1940, the solitary warship carrying the secret cargo docks safely in Halifax. The small crates of gold, labeled simply Fish, are unloaded under military guard and put aboard a secret train bound for Montreal and Ottawa. In Ottawa, the gold is stored in the vaults of the Bank of Canada. In Montreal, the precious cargo is put in the vaults of the Sun Life Building, then the biggest building in the Commonwealth. There would be many similar voyages, but for the duration of the war, not a word leaks out. Meanwhile, from Holland in the west to Romania in the east, Hitler is filling his war chest with 600 tons of looted gold. The stolen gold buys oil and armaments from neutral countries like Sweden and Switzerland. Britain counters by shipping gold bars from Canada to the U.S. to buy weapons and warships. The law enabling the sale by neutral America is called cash and carry.
The war, however grimly it turned out, was a huge kind of jolt to all the economies. And America, since it had stayed neutral, yes, could benefit from this surge of British purchasing.
Orders expected to reach $1 billion for over 7,000 pursuit ships and bombers will mean jobs for additional thousands of skilled workers and a tremendous boon to the nation as a whole.
While the gold of England helps lift America out of the Great Depression, the gold of France sits on the sidelines when it is desperately needed. Churchill asks France to release their gold to help England's war effort, which includes the liberation of France. The leader of the Free French, Charles de Gaulle, refuses. He says France needs the gold to rebuild after the war.
Britain is in a really devilish position after the war, having used up their gold during the war. The French have a kind of bounty waiting for them at the end of the war.
But the French also have a shameful secret to confront at the end of the war: the Holocaust and the secret role of gold. In Paris, this is a memorial to 73,000 French Jews rounded up by French police and deported to the Nazi death camps. Like thousands of Holocaust victims, many had deposited their savings in gold into safe Swiss banks, or so they thought. After the war, when families tried to claim their gold, the Swiss bankers demanded death certificates or other impossible proofs of ownership.
That was the greatest revelation of the Nazi gold thing, that the Swiss suffered from this. They would no longer be that nation of upright bankers and chocolate makers, you know, that they were as morally tainted by World War II as the rest of us were.
An international investigation revealed that some of the gold came from Nazi extermination camps, pried from the teeth and fingers of the victims, then melted down and recast by the Nazis. It's called Totengold, death gold. In 2012, in one of the war's more macabre revelations, it was found that Hitler's personal dentist used Totengold to fill the Führer's teeth. But most of the gold went to Switzerland.
We now know in World War II that some of the Swiss bankers facilitated this laundering of gold, right down to working with the foundries to refine it, restamp it, so that it could be laundered into the European economy.
In modern times, profiteering has risen to another level. The gains are now counted in the thousands of billions of dollars. Following the financial collapse of 2008, international banks have been mired in scandal. Several banks are under investigation for secretly manipulating international interest rates, costing consumers billions. HSBC, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank, paid a $1.9 billion fine for laundering money for a Mexican drug cartel. So it comes as no surprise that in the world of precious metals, a prominent Wall Street bank was caught cheating customers. Lawyer Samuel Sporn led the class action suit.
I was approached about 7 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Silverblatt, who had silver bullion, and he wanted delivery. He was dealing with Morgan Stanley.
Mr. Silverblatt, along with some 25,000 Morgan Stanley customers, thought they were buying bars of silver. Silver in a vault, allocated or set aside in their name. Similar cases have arisen over gold. To reinforce the impression they were buying silver, they were charged storage fees. But there was no silver being stored. The vault was empty.
Nowhere is it stated in clear, good English language that we are not purchasing actual commodity, gold, silver, or platinum. It's only unallocated, and it's a paper purchase. It's a position you have. You do not own the physical commodity. And then the customer says, my goodness gracious, I've been paying storage fees for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it may be. Why?